for the past 3 years, I've been preaching, around and been crucified, head down, this concept. We are really made by 2 genomes. The human genomes that we're born with, that will never change, that we got from mom and dad, that is as defective genes that will make me a risk for celiac disease or brain cancer or prostate cancer or Alzheimer, will not go away. But the beauty of this is that the fact that I have these genes doesn't mean that I will develop it. If I do or do not, depended by the second genome that we have, that is the microbiome. Change all the time. That if we're lucky, we got from our mothers. Because if this microbiome live in peace with my mother, most likely will live in peace with me as well, because I have similar genes as she does. So if I'm born by vaginal delivery, I have 3-4 less chances to develop celiac disease if compared to C-section. Because if you're born by C-section, your risk is much higher. And the reason why is because all comers, bad guys and good guys from the hospital, from whatever you are, will come in, from the skin of mom and so on and so forth. So I'm going to skip this because this is too complicated. We did a study to prove that the microbiome is important by taking a group of infant neonates at risk for celiac disease because some of the members of the family had it, and we follow over time. And we ask ourselves, does the microbiome really has to do with anything that happened to these kids, if they develop celiac disease or not? And the answer is yes. And what we realize, a very complicated concept that I'm trying to make simple, is consider human genome as a piano with 25,000, 30,000 notes, one for each gene. These notes will not give any sound unless somebody sits and plays the piano. And the piano player is the microbiome. So why the piano would never change, and if it has 300 notes that if they are stroke, they will play the celiac music, you can't trade in. That's a very expensive piano. But the microbiome, the piano player change all the time. And depends on who sits the piano, you have different music. So if you have Elton John, for example, that can touch 200 of the 300 notes, despite that you have the genes, the song celiac disease will not be played. But let's say that you have an infection. You undergo to pregnancy. You go to surgery. You have any stressors. In other words, or you take a trip somewhere. Anything that can change your microbiome. Now, rather than Elton John, maybe the Ray Charles is sitting the piano. He can touch all 300 notes, and you play the song celiac disease at any age. This is what we call epigenetics. And how do we know this? Because we can listen to the music. So now we have the capability to listen to music that technically is called metabolome. So if I hear pop music, despite that I'm genetically at risk, I know that I'm safe because the good microbiome is sitting there. But if all of a sudden I hear jazz music, I know that the wrong piano player is sitting there. This guy will lead me to celiac disease.